recording. We have people on. All right. So here we are with our monthly video chat.
So thank you for this.
Miss Laura
Yeah.
is going to give us an update on some things, and we're going to talk about some stuff. So we're going to cover stuff, and there was a visit last
Yes, this is a lot of just going right now.
Right. There you go. There we go. We muted it. There we go. All right, Laura, you want to go ahead and start with an update on registration and stuff going on with the event?
Okay, with people that are registered and paid and those that, I'm 99.9% positive are attending, just haven't registered and paid. We're sitting at about 41.
It's better than nothing.
And Joe says, good on us, and we're going to have a fun conference.
I think so. We always have a good time when we get together.
Yeah.
So Joe had a visit this week on the 16th, and I'm sure everybody here has seen it. If you're just viewing the video and you haven't seen the visit, you can go to beatpeace.net and go to visits 2023 and you'll find it there, or you can go to angelicgate.com and on the left-hand bar, you'll find latest visit. There you go. So looks like we have about 2 weeks until we get together in San Antonio this time. And
Coming up fast.
Coming up fast. Now, one of the cool things about this time that we're doing is, we've been wanting to, have some validation as to what we're doing at the event. And the Angels are going to go ahead and provide that for us. They're definitely doing everything they can to help modify what it is that they're doing to help us and be in support of what we're doing. And, over the years, this will be our 20th year doing this. This will be our 19th event total, but we missed one during the pandemic. Everybody had to stay home. But the last couple of years, the numbers, of course, have been dropping off a little bit. And I'm not sure if it's because of the pandemic or if it's just because people are just doing other things, which is just fine. But another thing we'll be doing at the event is we're going to be going more into the teachings, what Michael gave Joe over the years, because a lot of them kind of slipped to the side. Laura here will be teaching about the herbs, which is an important aspect that we, can incorporate into our lives. And it has a complication to it, but it's not so complicated you can't learn how to do the herbal thing. So that's something.
Yeah, the best time to start the 7 sacred herb process is November 1st. And so I'm going to encourage us to all start together on November 1st, and we can put together like I hate to use the word support group, but a group in which we check in with each other and ask questions and encourage each other to keep it up.
In the beginning, we did have that.
Yeah.
And Robbie did a lot.
Time to do it again. Time to do it again.
We got Kenneth, Danielle, Diane is the phone number, and there's Alicia. All right, and then push the. So, yeah, the herbs are. We did have a support system going, and then here Robbie would do the calendars, which we haven't. We just haven't put it together. It's not that. It's possible to do. It's just.
We'll have a calendar in time for November 1st.
Should be able to do.
So we can all start together.
Sounds like a good plan, So one of the focuses at the event this year will be more of a back to the basics type of thing, which is any great teachings, we converge together, they always go back to the basics. So we've agreed that that's something that would be prudent for us to do. Rick Welton will be teaching some things about he's doing oils, or is he?
Yes.
Doing the oils.
He's doing oils.
Many years, and he's been fantastic teacher. So, and then I think Joe's going to go over the tuning forks with us. So, and I'll be
as well as other things.
Yeah, then hopefully we'll get some other folks to join in and get some things out there that, I like to see a group effort when it comes to the event. We've had a body of teachings for, gosh, however long. By the way, anybody in the chat right now, if you have a question or you want to interject anything, feel free to unmute yourself and interject. So we'll go ahead and go for that. Anyhow, but incorporating the old, not the old teachings, they're old to us. We have a habit of calling the teachings old, or some of the processes older. Yeah, they came about 20 years ago, or maybe sometimes longer, up to 28 years ago. But they're absolutely new to the people that are coming in. So, we have an opportunity there to introduce some things to some folks out there that may not have had exposure to this type of healing modalities, and having this type of healing modality that's from an angel has a little bit of validity that we should probably encourage people. Anyhow, I know we're doing the each day we'll have different people teaching different things, and we'll be doing the different processes and the normal processes that we always do, such as the dance of oneness, the blessing, the Shakti blessing, and I'm not sure what kind of tunings or what other kind of attunements we're going to be doing, but they'll be involved as well. So Joe will be talking and teaching. I'm going to be sharing how to do the master's oil and a couple other little odds and ends.
Gabriel's tonic. Gabriel's tonic.
Gabriel's tonic's a cool one. Hopefully I can find some figs and some honey out there locally, because
Yeah.
some good stuff. I'll bring a blender just in case.
Along the line of it being a new experience, I remember my first experience with this in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
And
You're white.
I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what to expect. It was completely new. Even though I had read the book and had different backgrounds, all that, actually being there with the experience was a whole nother thing.
It was an incredible time. That particular event was really interesting, where we were given the keys to compassionate wisdom. And we had just come down off of a huge event that we had in Yellowstone the year previous. We had like 480 people there. It was quite incredible. But the year in Virginia Beach, we were able to. I still have my keys. They're on my altar. We got these little keys that said compassion and one that said wisdom.
Wisdom, yeah.
Compassionate wisdom. So you still have the keys to compassionate wisdom.
I have one of them.
Even if you lose the little trinket that came with it, you still have the keys to that. So, and then a couple of years before that, we were given authority over joy, which is when you attend that particular event, you have authority over joy, and you can pass that on to other people too. If you were at Ohio event. So anyhow, this year, of course, the new people that are coming that have been gathered or haven't been to an event for a little while, at least the last 3 years, they'll be calling in their angel for them as well. That's one of the benefits to becoming gathered and coming to these events, is you get your own companion, really. They assign you an angel that's just sitting there waiting for you right now. So if you're a gathered master and you haven't been to the event in a while, that's something to consider as to why we should show up as well. Because these angels, it's very subtle. I've found it. I've had, it happened in Colorado Springs, which was 3 years ago. And it's extraordinarily subtle. It's not as, if you're going to come in and expect to see an angel or have an immediate conversation, you're probably going to be disappointed. But if you come in with the knowledge that you can go ahead and create a relationship with this being of love that is there to guide and help you through your day and your life and everything, your healing, whatever it is that you do, So they step in quite often. And I found for me, the best way to just talk to them in my head. And, there's like, the way I can tell is because it's a whole different sounding thing to me, it doesn't sound like my ego or my cautionary voice or whatever voices normally talk to you. They're really subtle, real gentle, and I found it to be quite beneficial. It gets me through my week and my day. And I don't know if Carol's been having conversation with hers, but she did find out the name of her angel, and I'm almost positive he intervenes in her life as well. So each of us get to have these things, and that's one of the goals that everybody has actually been working for over the years, is to be able to communicate with angels on a different level, and that's one of the things that we get to do here. But I think one of the most beneficial things that you get from going to the event is the emotional shift and the energy that you get to bring home to something with. You get this, it's like I want to call it a high, but it's not a high. You get more of a clarity or more of a boost in whatever that you choose to go ahead and entertain in your life, be it business, be it a relationship, be it whatever, it's like, it's different. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like, I like to explain the Gathered Masters stuff, kind of like a Grateful Dead show. If you've ever been to a Grateful Dead show, it's an experience, not something that you can go home and go, well, this happened and that happened and this. Yeah, no, it's way different than that, because when you're at the event, all kinds of things are happening. You have connections being made. You do get fleeting moments of clarity and seeing. Some people have seen angels there. Some people have. The first event that we went to, I was hanging out with Danielle and Lee, and I don't know if Kenny was there. I don't remember Kenny being there in this conversation. We were hanging out by a van. We were discussing the seventh key and what it might be, and we all decided, I think Lee actually typed in first and says, I heard him singing, "We are the key, you are the key." And I remember hearing the singing, because we were standing in a circle for like hours. Now, anyhow, the experiences you have at these events will make you, everybody on the last day doesn't want to leave. So, there's some really cool things and connections that can be made. Plus, the vibrations we carry to this event, the vibrations we create at the event, goes out into the world. So if you're viewing this video and you're not on the chat, that's pretty much what's going on with these Gathered Masters people. So luckily we have a few things that everybody can get in touch with if you're interested in angels in any way, shape, or form. On the beatpeace.net website is the full-length book that Joe wrote called Blessings, Gifts, and Deeds, Building Your Celestial Mansion in Paradise. And he wrote that back in 1995, 96. And it's free online. So it's a real easy read, takes about maybe 3 hours. It's about a third grade read. And it's done that way, so it'll keep your attention. So anyhow, as far as what we can accomplish on chats, I think that if we share these videos with our friends that are reaching out to us and giving them the plugs of the websites that are available and the people that are available, because there's a few of those around that are teaching, we can grow this up a little bit more. We've been doing it for a while, so we kind of get an idea of what we're doing. Now, the visit that just happened, Michael was expressing that, maybe we should apply more effort to what it is that we're doing. He, in so many words, said that we have the blessings going pretty well. The gifts that we're discovering within ourselves and sharing with each other, we got that down pretty well. It's just the action part. And I think what's holding the masters back that have been coming for years or coming and going for years is they may lack the faith in themselves and realize what it is that they can accomplish when they come to these big groups. So that's why the theme of this year is, it's basically whoever shows up there is going to be able to, we will be given a task, because Michael's gonna show up to Joe at the event and give him the task. He just needs to know how many people are gonna be there. He won't know that until the day of the grand formation, because we've opened up the door for people to come last minute, which is just fine. We have a 4-day package and a 2-day package. And I think that, if you can make it for 1 or 2 days, if you're gathered, you could come for the 2 days. If you're not gathered, it's not worth your time, because we're going to be doing stuff that you can do in the formation. But if you're not gathered and you want to come to the 4-day thing, you're totally welcome. You can stand outside of the circle doing the thingy. But this year we can do 1 and 2 days, probably without a problem. And he's going to give us something that we can accomplish in that size and space, and then something that's noticeable, which, I've noticed over the years that we've been lifting the veil, that a lot of things are becoming more, people are becoming more aware of themselves and what's going on around them. And there's a lot of instances you can point out, but quite really, if we just look around us and see what's happened before the events happen and what's happening after the events, there are lately it's been subtle changes. Before, when we were having larger events, they were major changes. So, I think we can have something happen to help us keep coming back to it and possibly get out there and start doing gatherings again. The bottom line is gatherings is what's going to create the space for this to happen. We may not necessarily get a lot of visits over the next few years, because the last 20 years we've been given all of these processes and all of these things to do. First, the very first thing we were given was the baptism. Then after that, you read, first you read the book and you get the book of bricks and all that stuff. But within those pages, the first thing he gives you is the baptism. Then you get the book of bricks. Then you get the knowledge of the gathering. Then you get the knowledge of the 7 gifts of the 7 churches. And then you got, we have a progression that has come along. Over the years, we've had a lot of different techniques that have come along that we may have set aside. I mean, one of the things that I've mentioned to several masters over the years is angelic armor. And some of them scratch their head and say, oh, what is that? And others have gotten into accutuning and they know what I'm talking about. But there's other techniques out there that we have that may or may not be being used. And I think the angelic armor is an important one, because what happens is you invite these angels into different sections of your body. The angel actually literally comes into your body and removes the blockages that we've created, because what we've done over the years is we've put up these walls around us and these, hey, I'm protected type of thing, being afraid of stuff. And what happens in that instance is we're giving ourselves opportunities. We're missing out on a lot of opportunities by having that I got it attitude. Heck, I found myself having that I got it attitude once in a while. And it's like, I had to train myself to stop doing that, because you can miss out on a lot of stuff. You'll know whether you want to be involved in something or not, but you won't know unless you look. This work, I've noticed that when people look at it, they're like, oh, and then they start applying it to their life, and then they're like, oh, and then start happening in their lives, and they're just like, oh, I have people that are still buying oils that haven't gotten gathered or anything like that, but they've been using the oils and the tuning forks for years. It's not for everybody to come to the events, but we have plenty of people that really want to go ahead and, have a better world for the entire planet. And that's what it's all about, really. So, of course,
Hey, Dan,
go ahead. Yes,
I have a question
sure.
in regards to gathering.
Yes.
I know our group and another group has individuals that need to be gathered.
Okay.
And I know that they're not technically supposed to come, to get gathered. So how do we get these people gathered?
Well, that's,
Me?
Well,
Laura is open to do a gathering. What we're,
Well,
okay, so let me, I see what you're asking. For years, since 2004, 2005, we started doing gatherings at the event because we were having trouble getting people to do gatherings at home.
right,
Right after that, we had a big bad smattering of gatherings at home for a few years because they started doing these doubles and triple gatherings, which was not what we were supposed to. That's not what was given. That's not what was given.
Right.
That's why those weren't working. Now, Michael
Right.
said in a visit that having the gatherings at the event was a double-edged sword. And it
Right.
became something that was not working for the group as a whole. And yes, we
Right.
did gather a lot of people there at the event. But last year, Joe was asking some questions and Michael had decided to say, look, we're not going to do gatherings at the event anymore. Because he felt, I think that he felt that it might be getting in the way of what we're actually doing. And the gathering, I'm glad you brought that up. What is a gathering? A gathering is a servant and 7 masters, no more, no less. And that's what Camiel said in 2005 when she was explaining how to do the gatherings at the Enoda event that we were at.
right,
And she was encouraging us to do them at home. But if you can't get them done at home, here's another opportunity for us to do it at the event. But it didn't come without its warning. Michael did say, this may or may not work out to your advantage. If you look at what he was saying back then, and now he was reiterating that 2 visits ago when he said that, don't do the gatherings there anymore. It was kind of a double-edged sword. So now you were gathered at an event. A lot of folks were gathered.
no,
No, you got gathered in a group, or did you gather with the 7s? Okay.
Lee Feather got me and Ken
Okay,
and our 5. Yeah,
okay, cool.
it was an actual gathering. But my question is, I know that Jake has somebody
Okay,
and Zan has somebody, and we have these individuals that it's, we want to bring them and have them have their experience, but they can't fully participate because they haven't been gathered.
they could-
Joe said he would have a
Up until-
place for everybody on Saturday night.
Yeah, so on the night, the ones that are going to be there will have their own version of a participation. It's not like get out of the room or anything like that.
No, not
They
at all.
get to do something that is very, very cool. They get to be witness to what's going on. And in some way, their presence is a participation. So the angels and God are going to use what they have at hand. And it's, remember, we don't know everything that they're thinking. They don't give us a whole lot of information. They want us to figure this stuff out on our own. And
Right.
they hope that we do, what they give us and things like that. So what I took Michael saying when he said not to do the gatherings at the event any longer, he was in so many words saying that it's time to just pick up and do what we asked you to do in the first place. When I got gathered,
And
It was-
carry on with the actual gathering process.
an actual gathering process. It's a 3-day process. You start
Mhm.
Friday, everybody comes together.
Mhm.
Saturday is when the teaching starts. Sunday is when you do it's either Saturday night or Sunday morning, you do the Well of Souls, usually Saturday night. And then Sunday you have breakfast and talk about your experience and go off into the world and gather your 7. Because now
Mhm.
back then you could only do 4 gatherings. Now
Right,
you get to do 7. So Jacob can do 7 gatherings. Zan can do 7 gatherings. So my recommendation to them is to find more and more. And you're going to need to touch a lot of lives with this because, getting into wanting to do a gathering is not just, calling up your best friends and then being done with it. You guys have done gatherings. Lee's done gatherings. She knows what it takes to get a gathering together. It's not that easy all the time, but persistence pays off. With
yes,
an open heart and an open mind, guess what? these things, like when you decide that you're going to the event and you ain't got enough scratch on you, you don't have enough money to get to the event, but I really want to get to this event. If you put all of your energy into that, guess what happens?
Right, right.
And that's the same way with anything. Same way with anything. You know, when we start participating with creation, creation participates with us.
Right.
And you are, Danielle, you're one of those people that you've come a long way. You know, you're doing things in your life that, well, what's your experience over the years? What have you gained from coming to the events and being gathered?
Yeah.
What have you gained?
Well, I know who I am, and I know what part of my mission. Just like I needed to, after we get off off of this, I need to talk to Laura, because I'm gonna be a vendor this year.
Sweet. Sounds good to me. So, you know, things changed. Well, when I met you, you were kind of broken. You were kind of, you know,
There was no kind of to it. I was broken.
I viewed you in a much different light than you viewed yourself. You know, I saw somebody that had the gumption, and you put forth your all, and you've reaped a lot of rewards. You know, I've seen you move across the country and back. So, you know, these things change your life. You know, it gives you it gives you tools to have a life that works for you. Now, that's a big hint for us, you know. As our lives start working for us, we want that for other people. And as we come together, and Michael has said, you know, in this last visit, he mentioned about the numbers. Each year we struggle with our numbers, and they've been asking for a specific amount for many years, and we're discouraged because nothing is happening. And it's hard to expect something to happen when you don't have everything in place in order for it to be. And their request was 222 people.
Which isn't much.
That's not a lot. That's not a lot of people. You know, we've had to hit that number several times. We had to hit numbers on several different occasions. But when the angels give us something to do, it's not, you know, give it an old college try. It's like, do it. You know, you can do it. If we couldn't do it, they wouldn't have given it to us.
Right.
So, you know, yourself, Danielle and Lee and Kenny, and even Alicia. Alicia is a trooper. She's come. I thought you were going to take off a few times because, you know, it's not easy to do, you know, and I had no clue what was going on with Alicia. She's just a trooper, and she's, quite frankly, one of the more powerful people I know. When we go through a lot of crap in our lives and we overcome it and we move through it, that makes you a powerful person. It doesn't make you less than, or it makes you a survivor. It makes you triumphant. It makes you, you know, it lifts you up. And then you get to do that to other people. And that's what this work teaches us to do, is to do that with other people, lift them up. Over the years, we've struggled with that. You know, sometimes we feel like lifting each other up, and sometimes we don't feel like lifting each other up, you know, and I feel that as we learn to go within ourselves, which is all of this stuff is introspective work. The Book of Bricks is all introspective. The 7 Keys, all introspective. Every aspect of this work is introspective. You know, some of it's group participation and some of it's solo stuff. You know, welcome, Crystal. So, you know, all I know is I've been going to these things for many, many years, and I don't see myself stopping until we finish what we're doing. And I'm hoping we can do it before I end up going home, you know. And I'm sure Joe was feeling the same way, you know. And he's another thing about Joe is he's handed the event over to the masters. So whoever is involved obviously has an opportunity to go ahead and get involved on that way. And even if you don't come to the events and you've come to a few events and you know how to put these things together and what it takes to get them done, more than welcome to join in. Laura's already stepped up to the plate. She's doing registration. She volunteered to do that, and she's doing a
me know what I need to do.
Okay, this is what you need to do if you're a gathered master or a master in waiting that wants to be gathered. Here's what you need to do. If you see something that needs to be done, do it.
Do it.
Don't wait for Joe to tell you what to do. Don't wait for me to tell you what to do. Don't wait for Laura. Don't wait for Ken or Gary or Shelby or any of the other masters that have been coming around for many, many years. Don't wait for somebody to tell you what to do. If you see something that needs to be done, do it. As far as gatherings go, if you feel that that's something you want to do, you know, because it's a choice. You don't have to do gatherings. You don't have to get gathered. But if you choose to do these things, do them to your ability. You know, some people will just get gathered and be gathered, and that's okay because they need that in their life. They came here to heal aspects of their life, so let them heal it. Then there's people that get out there on the forefront of things, and you know, they're creators. What they're calling them now is they're creators. They go out there and they get things moving. And in the early developments of this, we were having gatherings every weekend, you know, 8-10 gatherings on a weekend. So the way that was happening, the way that got done was that people were sharing this information with each other, you know, and over the years, yeah, life comes up, and Michael has addressed this on several occasions. You know, people will come and people will go from the work, and that's okay. They're not wrong. They're not right. They're perfect, whole, and complete children of God. They got their things to do, whether it doesn't matter what it is they're doing. It doesn't matter. Be in support of them. Be in support of them being away. Be in support of them being close by. Just be in support of them. And that's what it's all about. And I think we've all kind of not gotten that part. Be in support of each other. Lift each other up. Promote each other. If you know somebody's having a gathering, tell them, okay, this is where this person's having a gathering. You're of this vibration or this church, then go for it. You know, share with them. I've given you guys people that were getting gathered. There was a woman in Kansas City that wanted to get gathered, and I told her that Lee was having a gathering. She ended up going out there in the middle of the forest with a bunch of redneck people, and you know, there's a big story that goes with it. You'll have to stick around to find that story, but it worked out that somebody got to get gathered because somebody said, hey, they're having a gathering over there. And that's how it generally worked. We had a guy named Steve in the beginning. He was in the first gathering as well. He was of the Church of Sardis, and he networked. He just knew a bunch of people, and he told a bunch of people about this thing. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2004. Just before the 2004 event in Austin, but he's helping from home. You know, we generally keep a space open for them, so for him. But it comes down to networking. It comes down to anything. If you have a widget that you're selling, you've got a widget. I don't have a widget here. Okay, here's a widget. You have a widget that you're selling. You have to let people know about it. You know. But this thing is different than selling, okay? What we're doing here is we're giving someone an opportunity to discover something about themselves that they may or may not have known. If they didn't know about it, they get to discover great things. If they did know about it, they get to enhance what they already know. Because people are generally not stupid. They kind of, you know, most people kind of have an idea of who they are. And then there's those that have no clue to who they are. And that's why this work is so easily incorporated to everything out there. Everything. It could be incorporated to anything. All of it molds in a melody, you know. Just like our Gate of Grace is based off of frequency. It's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. That's a frequency, a melody, and a flow. So anyway, this work kind of was given in that kind of a way, but it was also given at a time that we could receive it. So that's why I know anybody can do this, because they wouldn't have given it to us, and you wouldn't have been exposed to it if you could. There we go. And a lot, you know, we have a lot of really talented people in our groups, and you know, some of them have come and gone that are famous, some of them are not so famous, some are just working on their own thing. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, but what does matter is if you want to have something different than what's going on right now in our world, you know, reconsider the opportunity, you know. I don't know what made you stop coming. I don't care. It's none of my business. What I care about is if we're going to be there and have that opportunity for the new ones coming in, because the gatherings, just like the ones at the event, are not for us that have been here. The gatherings are for those that are coming in. And it is so important that we have the opportunities for them as they discover it, because they may trip over Joe's site and go, hey, this is really cool. Or they may trip over angelicgate.com and go, hey, how do I learn more? Or somebody's book out there, one of Gary's books, or one of Julia Hanson has a book. Cynthia
Stephanie.
has a book. Stephanie has a book out there. There's been a lot of people spreading this stuff out there, and I've actually been contacted by people that heard about it 15 years ago, forgot all about it, ran across something refreshed their memory, and all of a sudden I'm getting a phone call, or Joe's getting a phone call, which he tells them to call me anyway. So I'm getting phone calls or emails from people that are just now remembering that, oh yeah, the angels are helping us out, try and create a world that works for everybody. Maybe I should jump. So, you know. And you know, it's we've been so conditioned in our life, you know, about everything has to look a certain way and everything has to be a certain way. And it's like, would this work? No, it doesn't work that way. The work invites you in and helps guide you through these things. And since it's guiding us, we have no idea where it's taking us, but we have a trust that it's from the angels and a space of love, so that we go with it and we figure it out. Now, once we start projecting and trying to put stipulations on our participation or place what we think should be happening, well, I've been doing this for so long, I should be seeing angels and write my own books. And well, yeah, you should. But, you know, that's not necessarily going to happen. But what can happen is you can have a deeper understanding of who you are, fall in love with yourself, not in a narcissistic sort of way, but in a way that you actually care for yourself. You know, like you care for your children, you care for your parents when they're, you know, your parents care for you when you're young, and you get to care for your parents when they're old, you know, and then you have kids, geez, you know, you never stop caring about them. So as we start pushing out our level of scope, we realize that everybody around us is family. Really, we got one planet. That's it. 7 continents. You know, we got one race. It's human. You know, we got everybody breathes the same air. Everybody shares the same sunlight. Everybody drinks the same water. Everybody shares the same love. And as we get more familiar with love, love gets more familiar with us. And it just sort of snowballs into this really wondrous thing. And yeah, we're allowed to resist it. We're allowed to question it. We're allowed to do anything we damn well please with it, because we have this wonderful thing called free will. God's not going to intervene in your participation. It's just not. You know, when you pour your bowl, when you decide to get gathered and you pour your bowl, you say something. You say, guide me in all things I must do. That doesn't mean God's going to take the wheel. God's going to guide you. Over
You
there.
know, I do.
It's over there, you know, or right here in front of your face, or it's within you the whole time. How does all those movies end where, you know, you got this student guy and this teacher guy, and the students like searching all over the place and trying to find that one thing, and at the end of the movie it was in him the whole time? You think that's like done by mistake? We have literally thousands of movies and cartoons and shorts and little things that are that gives that same message, and all of it's right there. So anyway. we're kind of lucky if you think about it, you know? I think we're really fortunate to have had this opportunity come into our lives, no matter when it's come in, you know, because for me and a lot of people that I've talked to that have gotten involved in this work is we all have something in common. We all asked a question. We asked, you know, the question I asked was guide me and place me where I need to be, show me what I need to see. You know, and for you, it might have been another mantra or another something, but somewhere along the line, you asked for this to be in your life. And it always answers, no matter which way it is. You know, where you are on the planet, it's going to answer. You're in this particular region of the world, hopefully you'll run across the Gathered Masters and see that, hey, there's something that has a lot of potential. We're going to find out how much potential that's going to have here in just a couple of weeks, because no matter how many people, if it's 30 people to get together, 40 people, or 222 that they've been requesting, we're going to be able to be given a task that we can accomplish and have a result. And that's what everybody really is looking for, is a result. But one thing that I do know is when I use the tuning forks on people or myself, I get a result. When I use the oils on myself or other people, I get a result. You know, there was this process where we put the gate on someone's back, and it's done with oils in a sacred geometrical pattern. You say something and they say something. So it's an act of giving and receiving, just like what they're showing us how to do with the gatherings. And some miraculous things have happened. You know, in one of Joe's books, he was talking about using, I think it was Teaching the Masters, he was using the oil on, he grabbed a bunch of Young Living essential oils on his way out the door, and Michael says, hey, why are you grabbing those? Why don't you grab these? And he used Michael's oil and Michael's technique of using the gate of grace on this person's back, and their symptoms were alleviated immediately. And anyhow, there's just so many different things, you know, that you can do with this, like the stem cell work. I'm watching my mother. We've been doing stem cell on her, trying to regrow her, not trying. We're working on her liver and her kidneys. And it seems to be working because she's not having the ailments that she's had before. And her doctors are running a lot of tests and kind of scratching their head going, okay, that shouldn't be happening, but it is. So, you know, I've seen one girlfriend of mine actually grow a body part back, which totally astounded me. And then talked to Joe a little while, about 7 or 8 months ago. He was telling me about a guy that was going in for kidney surgery and was doing the stem cell rejuvenation one time. And his doctor told him that he didn't have to have surgery because he had a new kidney. So, gosh, you just know what you're going to get with this stuff. You know? Anyhow, I guess we can sit here and listen to me expound on things that are coming into my mind, or we can wrap it up and see what we can get, you know, ourselves motivated to do. And we'll share this video with people out there, and hopefully they'll be encouraged to either get re-involved with the work or get involved with the work. You know, I think that I come from a background in sales. And what I learned there was everything is a numbers game. When you want to reach a lot of people, it takes a lot of work. You need to, like if you're in telemarketing, which I have tried before, I don't recommend it. I don't like it. I hate it. Don't want to ever get on with the people and have a bunch of rejection. But what it did is it taught me that for every 10 or 15 calls, I'm going to get 1 or 2 yeses. Sometimes it's every 50 calls. Sometimes it's after 100 calls. But if you don't give up, you're going to get somewhere. And then once you start finding your niche, and it comes same with this conversation about the sevens. Once you find your niche in that conversation, what works for you, people start listening to you different. Now, having a conversation about this work today is much different than having a conversation about this work, let's say in 1997, 1998, when this first started out going. People would look at you like you're from outer space. Nowadays, people are like, really? Tell me more. really tell me more. At least that's my experience. And I've changed my conversation in such a way that I can just have a few minute conversation with them. And the main thing I want to do is get them to the website so they can make their own choices, read the book and decide. And of course, if I need to follow up, I follow up, you know, but it's a numbers game. The more people you reach, the more people are going to respond. And if there's any TikTok creators out there within R7s that are willing to maybe create some TikTok stuff or even some videos on YouTube or whatever's popular out there these days. I don't know, Snapchat, all these different things. By all means, use whatever is at hand. We have the ability to reach literally millions of people at any given time. So, you know, go for the low hanging fruit and do what you know how to do. Also, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of rejection. There are people that are on a different path. They're not going to embrace this, even if they own a crystal shop and they have, you know, they even sell tuning forks and oils in their store. They may not be in alignment with what we're doing. You know, we only need 144,000 of them. So out of 8 billion people, we got a lot of work to do. We only need to find 144,000 of them. Little by like right now, we're looking for 232, 333, and then it goes up exponentially. That's how it's going to work. So, did I see Ann Polson sneak in? Hi, Ann Polson. Love you, lady. Can't wait to see you. All right. So, anything else? Do you have anything to add to this, or any comments there, Miss Laura?
No, just if there are people that are going to be attending the conference that are not gathered or not gathered, and they would like to get gathered after the conference, I'm happy to put those people together.
It'll take a couple
Cool.
days afterwards. So you could probably get it done in 2 days. It's best if you do it in 3, but that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad
Mhm.
idea. I'm in support of that idea. Why not? You know, you don't want the energy to go away. Guess what? Here's a way to do it. Keep it up 3 more days.
Right.
And I'm sure they will rent you rooms to do it. So, you know, we can figure that out. Groovy. All right. How about you, Miss Diane? Do you have anything to interject? I don't think she can hear me, or she's on mute.
Yeah, I can hear you. I've just been muted. Oh, no. Yeah, you covered a lot of bases.
Okay, good.
Everything's great.
Main thing is I guess it's business as usual. We've been doing this for a long time. A lot of us have been doing it for a long time, and there are new people coming, and there are opportunities. Just share it. It's all we have to do is share the info. That's it. Let them decide.
One thing I've noticed about this
Yeah,
is we have people coming together, some from all over the world, with all kinds of cultures and all kinds of different viewpoints and experience and personalities. And all of us coming together and coming into harmony is
Yep.
a dynamic seed for peace in the world.
that's the whole idea. And it makes sense once you look at it like that. It does make sense. You know, one of the things that one of the masters early on was saying, we're sowing the seeds of peace. And I think Michael even brought it up, you know, everything that we're doing is like sowing seeds. You know, they've referenced it, and it makes a lot of sense because we live on the garden. We live in Eden. Now we get to acknowledge it on a much different level. Once we start participating with Eden, Eden will participate with us.
All over the years, I've noticed how the ease and smooth flowing has increased, which is part of the growing and transformation with the people that are participating. And being able to witness people's blossoming and emerging more fully from year to year is awesome.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I like to watch over the years is people growing and moving mountains in their lives, you know. She's just watching my wife, you know, when she started coming in 2014, and just seeing Carol's progression in the almost 10 years that she's been going. I think this will be her 10th year going. Yeah. Her 9th or 10th year. And, you know, she's way different than when I met her. Way different. She's literally changed the way she looks, literally changed the way she does things, you know, and she's growing more each day. The more willing she becomes. It's amazing to watch.
The interesting thing about that is the thing about people changing, they're just really shedding, because who they are emerges more fully and vibrantly.
Absolutely. I love that phrase. I love that. The way you phrase that. They're shedding. I like that. I'm gonna use that. Shedding, you know, it's kind of like angelic armor. What you're doing with that process is you're shedding the blockages that are keeping you from your greatness. You know, you're shedding all the things that don't work for you. Beautiful, beautiful. Anything else there, Diane? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Stop muted. Anyone else?
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you guys for showing up, and we're going to go ahead and put this on YouTube and the Gathered Masters pages, and I encourage you to share it with your friends, family, neighbors. It's not multi-level marketing, so you don't have to accost anybody. Everything's cool, man. Look, there you go.
Okay, see everybody very, very soon.
Very soon. Yep.
Bye.
Excellent. Everybody, listen, man, I'm going to go ahead and.